in this second video in this short series about PowerShell, in the previous video we copied a file with PowerShell and we baked it into Win32 app. In this video we're going to use pure Windows PowerShell and we're going to upload it here and run. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a scheduled task. And this scheduled task is going to run, let's say, every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. and it's going to run the system file checker and then scan for problems on all the systems and repair if they find any. It's a pretty good habit to have. So let's start to write this script. We need to create scheduled task, as I mentioned. I like to do that in PowerShell ISC. And let's start it as administrator. Again, we don't need that for writing the script, but if we want to create scheduled task that is under running a system, then it's a good thing. So let me zoom in 3 times so it'll be easier to see. And you know, I like to put the comments to know what this script does, who have done it, and date. So let's do exactly that. The purpose, create scheduled task to run system file checker with the Scannow, and create is better with 1 R, right? Then I like to put author, yeah, that's me. Date, date today is the 20th, yes, 20 October 2022. Okay. This can be fairly difficult actually, but we'll get through it, and I'll put up some splash signs for how to create this, and I will copy this full script in the description also, so you can just follow along and copy there. So set what do we need? We need a trigger, when should it run? We need a task, what should run? And then some settings. So that's going to be some variable. I'll always prefix mine with JBN, so let's call it the trigger. And that one, they all start with new, and this is what I like with IC. It helps because I don't know this by heart. Scheduled, and I think it's called task trigger, yes. And then if I do a dash, I get some help usually, yes. So we want to run this weekly. We said Wednesday. Actually, that would be good to put here in the description. Each Wednesday, 5 a.m. And if the machine is down, it's going to run when it starts up. Then we have day of week. We said Wednesday. Then we say at. I think we can do it in this format. So that looks pretty good. That's when. Then what should it run? So we put the JBNTask, same there. I don't remember, but I know it starts with New-ScheduledTaskAction. So maybe we actually call this one action instead of task. My bad. JBNAction. What should it actually do? And if we hit here, we want to execute something. And what we want to execute is actually system file checker. And it wants a parameter, this Scannow. We can't put that in execute because it's looking for a file, but SFC it's going to find. So we can do a dash argument, and that argument we can add in quotation scan now. I think that's enough. Let's see if there are some other. That's fine. I don't know why it's stuck on that. I'm just going to go away, come back. We don't as job, verbose, debug. We are good there actually. Then we have some settings, and that's basically to tell it to run as Windows 10 or later, depending on what you have in your fleet, of course. And it's the same new scheduled. I hope it's going to give me task. Oh, I won't. It doesn't give me the drop down. Task, I think it's settings. No, scheduled setting task. Okay, I hope. Oh, there it's more helpful. So compatibility, you actually put you have version 1, Vista, Windows 7. If you put Win 8, it's going to show compatibility with Win 10, which is good for Windows 11 also. So I put that. If you have Windows 7, you put that. If you're older, hopefully not. Then we can see here, allow even if they're on batteries. We want to run this one. That's fine. What else do we have? Oh, I should not have done that. Come back. And it removed the one I already set. That's nice. I mean, technically it could run hidden, right? But I have StartWhenAvailable. So if we miss the time at 5 a.m., we run it after. That's fine. Can I disallow? That's not what I want. I don't know why sometimes I get this draw. Just go back if that's happened to you. Don't stop on idle. No limit. Restart. A lot throttle. I think maybe we're good there. I thought there was one more I wanted. Let me go through. Disallow demand. No. Delete. Disable. Hidden. Run only. No. Network. Disallow. Maintenance period. Maintenance deadline. Don't stop if going on batteries. Yeah, let's do that. There's no need to stop it. So that's pretty good. Actually, I forgot, but I think it's not too late. Let me create the scheduled task and just map these values so it becomes more understandable what we are doing here in the script. I'm just gonna do yes here. So we open here. I'm gonna minimize this one so we can see our code at the same time. So I'm just gonna right click here, and we're not gonna save this. Create task. Perfect, this is what I wanted to have. So what we have here with compatibility, it's this checkbox here, configured for, not a checkbox, it's a drop-down box. So Win 8 is going to do this one, Windows 10. Condition, no, that's under setting. Run the task as soon as possible, that's the start when available. And the others are to allow even if it's going to uncheck this. And then we had our action. That was basically, we were just saying SFC and then arguments scan now. And then we had the trigger. We said new, we said weekly, Wednesday at, 5, right? I'll tab this one. Something like this. This is what we want, but we don't want to do it manually. We want the script. So far we have done that part here. So I'm canceling out this one. It was just to do a sort of a mapping. I should maybe have done here. So we have weekly, day of week, Wednesday, 5. We execute SFC with this argument, and then we have these settings. So I'll cancel out this one. We can keep task scheduler open because we're going to test run this and see if there are some errors. Very often there are errors. They are easily fixed. So now we need another variable which we can call task. So we're going to create a new dash schedule task, and I forgot a bit what it's going to be. So now we're going to incorporate all these three here. So if we start with trigger, since that's on the top, what's the trigger going to be? Well, it's going to be our variable here. So I just copy and paste that here. Then we have an action. Yes. Well, it's going to be our variable here, JBNAction. Copy that. Then guess what? If it's going to be settings, the last one. Yes, you're right. Settings. And we do that one here. Copy and paste. Optional, we can also put the description, why not? System file checker weekly Wednesday run at 5 a.m. or like, and we end that with a quotation. Not needed, but it's always nice to have. So now we have only created variables, right? Now create the actual scheduled task. Actually, usually I put only 2 hash here, it doesn't matter, but just to see that the 3 there are at the top. So here, create scheduled task, because we have just created one well, create, it's actually called register. So let's call it register, even though I think it's more create. So we only created variable, those doesn't do anything. Now we're going to tie everything together. Well, these three are tied together to this one, so we're just going to tie this one. So it's called let me do that, register. I think it's scheduled task, yes, and it needs a task path. So that's basically where, if we want to put that under Microsoft or Dell, I'm going to create a new one called GBN, but you can call your whatever you want, of course. So I call it GBN. Then the actual task name, and that's going to be the name, and I like our description, so I think I put that one there, paste. And here comes the first one that doesn't show up in this list. Oh, it does. Input object. I wasn't sure that one always showed up. Okay, my bad. It did show up. And here, input object, here comes our JBNTask. Copy that. And now comes the hardest part for me to remember. Dash. We want to run this as a user. And we want to run it as a system. So I think it's called NT authority, and then we need a backslash, and I think it is system. I'm gonna do a little cheat here and look. Do I have it somewhere? NT authority, yeah, I don't think it doesn't matter, but so we want to run it as the system, so they have permission to run this. This start to look very, very good. I think we can run this. I close this one so we see the whole script. Probably going to get an error. So quick recap. We put the trigger. When should this run? We put the action. What should it run? And then we add some other settings who are not that important. But I mean, a lot of people run on battery. Why should we run on it? This take very few CPUs, so it won't drain the battery. Then we create the task. And then we register. So this is the part who's going to put it here. So as you see, I don't have any GBN folder. Hopefully it's going to create the GBN folder here and the task name. And when we open it, we're going to see all our settings. So let's test run this on this machine, and then we're going to send it in Intune and actually send it to some real machines. So I'm running it. I am administrator. We can see that in the upper left here. So no error, and we get this. So it's probably working. Of course, I need to refresh here, so I'm going to do a refresh. And we have our GBN here. I'll make this one bigger. And it have not run yet. We can take properties. And you see here, it says Windows 10. By default, it take one of the older. It's run as system. That was the NT authority system. Triggers, 5 a.m. every Wednesday. Perfect. Action, run system file checker Scannow. Condition, well, always run even if it's not on AC. And we also have run as soon as possible. If for some reason a machine is not on at 5 a.m., it starts when people start it on. Let's run this one manually just to see that we don't quickly get an error. It takes some time to run it, but if we get an error, it's going to error out quick. So I hit run, and you have to refresh here to see. So I'll do refresh. It's currently running, and it's going to do, I'm not going to wait for it, but if it fails, you'll just have to refresh for a few seconds. It seems like it's running. I mean, if we looked in, so you refresh, but we should be able to see it running. If we open Task Manager, and that changed a bit in Windows 11, if we go here, and then search on system file checker. Yep, we have it running here, and it's running as system. So this one probably going to run for a while. I'm not going to wait for that. Okay, so we have it working. So let's go and upload it to Intune and then push it to some of my machines. So I have two machines just to verify that they don't already got it. So if we open here, I'll put them next to each other because come on, Windows 11 feature. It doesn't support on this one. On these Windows. Do I have a second one there? Yeah. Bit confusing maybe to see this, but Here are two enrolled machines. If I go here and refresh, they don't have any GBN. If I go on the other one, open here and refresh, there is no GBN. So now let's go to the Intune console. So probably it looks like this. So we just go to devices, and under here we have script. You can have two script if you manage Mac or Windows, but for Windows it's PowerShell, no CMD. So we add, so Mac OS or Windows 10 or later. Let's do Windows 10 or later. I don't have any script, so let's see if I still have that in my memory here. Yep, I do Windows V, love that feature. So we can call it this one, and I think that works as description also. Let's go with that. Script, so now we need to save our script. I forgot that part. Let's save our script, of course. So hit save. And the previous script was here. Under GBN, do I have scripts? I don't. Let's create, I'm gonna do an underscore PowerShell. And let's call this one, I'm gonna prefix it with my company name, JBN dash system file weekly run. If we change the date, the time, don't put in 5 a.m. there. Okay, so now we have the script. So I click on where we saved it. So I saved it under my GBN folder, and then I have underscore PowerShell, and here we have the script. So now that's uploading, less than a kilobyte. So here comes the question, do we run this script using the logged in credential? Definitely not, because this needs to run as a system. So we keep that no. Enforced script signature check. Definitely we don't want that, because that's going to fail. Do we want to run this as a 64-bit? Yes, that works perfectly fine. So we go next. Then we do assignment. I want this actually on all devices. So I'm going to add it to all devices. You could scope it out to a group, of course, if you want. And let's review and add. So we have this good script. The name is good. Well, it's okay, I guess. And we include everyone. We could exclude also, but let's do this. This has been created. We have our first PowerShell script. So now I just want to see if my machines will get this script. Okay, I have waited a while. We can also see the progress from the console. That takes longer time though. So if we click here on our script, it says 0 success. So I don't know why this one haven't updated, but if we go on device status, we actually have this device. It's one of my two. And it said succeeded. Hope that really means we have the scheduled task there. I haven't looked actually. So it's one of these two. The name isn't really helping me which one. Shall we guess it's this one? If not, we look at the other one. So we go task scheduler. See if it shows up GBN here. It does. Maybe the other one does it also. So here we got our scheduled tasks. If we take properties, we have, it says Windows 10. The trigger is 5 a.m. Weekly on Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday every week. The action should be to run system file checker. And condition, yes, always start, settings, run even. So good. So this one will run on Wednesday at 5 a.m. We could, as a little extra, look in the log file. So if we go see program data, hidden folder, then we go Microsoft, then we go Intune management extension and logs. And when we deploy a Win32 app, yes, we use Intune management extension. For pure PowerShell, it should be agent executor. So hopefully we got something here. Let's see, that looks to be our script. Yep, it's in here. So you can verify this in the agent executor log if you want to see more. PowerShell path, run as 64-bit, as 32-bit false, yes, we said. Exit code is 0. We know that means success, but okay, it's success anyway. And if you want to see any of your PowerShell scripts, agent executor.log file. And why it doesn't open in Notepad is because I have a CM trace, and we didn't package that. We copied that file in the previous previous video. Okay, this video is running very long. So we created our PowerShell script. We went to devices, scripts, we added it here, we deployed it to all machine, we verified that it was successfully there, we even looked at the log files. So if you follow along, great. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.